Work-life balance, the toughest job for an entrepreneur. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about how to maintain work-life balance. Apart from that, we are going to have a deep dive into the power of AI and how to leverage it. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our brand new episode of the podcast, The Business Queens. Today, we have Miss Supriya Bhuwalka as a guest. Supriya is a dynamic entrepreneur and advocate for women empowerment. As the founder of Coding and More, a personalized AI and coding edtech startup, she is committed to teaching K-12 children the skills of AI and coding. So, Supriya, we welcome you to today's show.
Thank you, Ishleen. I'm so happy to be here and to be talking to you.
That's my pleasure indeed. So, Supriya, give us the overview of your Coding and More, and how did you start this venture? Like, what made you start this venture altogether?
So, Ishleen, I've always been in education, since my own education. I was first counseling children for study abroad in a private school in Mumbai. I was helping the head counselor there.
Okay.
And while talking to the children, I realized the fear psychosis parents and children go through, where education loses its meaning. Education should be joyful learning and life skill enhancement. And I felt that I need to do something more so that people are focused on joyful learning and life skill enhancement. And I got an opportunity to start a franchise with Kumon because,
Okay.
after having not worked as an entrepreneur, it's not easy to start a business, out of the blue. So Kumon was a business that helped me, learn the different aspects of being an entrepreneur. And while I was doing that, I felt that I needed to do more. And being a maths major, coding is nothing but applied math. I was looking for something for my own daughter. And not being from the background, I started researching, where can I make her learn these skills? Couldn't find the appropriate company, for her. I said, what, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And that's how Coding and More was really born out of a need of finding the right class for my own child. And
Wow.
in my mind, I wanted to do more for women empowerment, my own journey. So
Right.
having my own company gave me that freedom to be able to do more.
And okay, tell us one thing. When it comes to coding, how does coding actually benefit children?
So, I think of coding just like math. It is a way of thinking. It's logical reasoning. It's breaking up a larger problem into smaller, doable pieces.
Right.
Also, what I loved about coding was, which people don't realize, it's lateral thinking. It develops out of the box thinking because, to get to a solution, there are multiple ways.
Right.
And that's what coding really does. Most people look at coding saying, ki, theek hai, I'll build a foundation in computer programming. That's an infield.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. I think it's a life skill that you build on how to problem solve. That's why I encourage everyone to learn coding for that thinking skill, whether you do math or coding. Same thing.
Right.
In my mind.
So tell us one thing, being an edX startup, that too in a space where big giants were already there, it was something where you were bound to face a lot of competition. How did you decide your pricing strategies and things like that so that you don't face that head-on competition? And if you actually faced it, how did you manage it?
So, I believe that no matter what you do in life, there's going to be competition, right? And competition is good because, see, I'm a startup, I'm bootstrapped, and I didn't want to, spend my money in this endless pit of marketing. And I didn't want to do unethical marketing. So I could save all my energies towards, product development and actually doing a good service to the children. So for me, pricing was Today, I'm a parent also. I want to give value for money.
Right.
So I didn't care what the competition is charging because I was sure about my quality. And I know that in the long run, word of mouth, when people are happy, they will stay with you and they will recommend you to others. We have another very interesting modern, Ishleen. We don't train a person for 100 hours, 200 hours, and we don't do any of those gimmicks. We are so sure. We say, 10 hours. If you're happy, then you do the next 10 hours. If you're happy, then you do the 10 hours. I thought like a mother and an educator so that you're fair to the child, the parent, and the teacher. We're not a marketing company, we're an education company. So it didn't matter.
But you have really highlighted a very important point, Supriya, because the thing is, yes, we have to do business, we have to earn revenues, but illegal practices, I would say unethical practices, are on a rise. If you take up any service, you sign up a contract, you are bound to do that. Then for getting the refund, you are sending emails, making calls, things like that. Nobody is responding. Like, this is such a big trap we fall in because we want something good for our children. So this is something really amazing that you are doing.
Thank you. See, we're here to do a service, right? For me, coding in more is just not a business. Of course, it's important to make money, but at the same time, your reputation, what you're here for matters, right? So we live by that.
Because, I think this is something which many of the parents were suffering from earlier. Because when I thought of doing coding, I also thought of, looking up for things around me. But then it was like such a long-term commitment. And being a mother to a young child, I was not sure whether he's going to do it or not. So why would I invest a huge sum of money for something that I'm not even sure my child would love it or not, would be able to do it or not? So this was indeed a trap that I was getting into. So I would really suggest that if there is something of this sort, when you have the liberty of opting in the things and opting out, it is something that every business must offer. This is really great.
Yeah, and also, Ishleen, what I found is that, coding and AI are such fields that most people don't even know how to know what quality they are getting.
Right.
Because our generation, we were learning programming at a much older age. So then, how does a parent know that, is this right for my child and what I'm getting, is it good quality? There's nothing to compare, right? Which is why I said, build the trust by giving the right quality.
Because quality speaks for itself. You don't have to do anything. And then when it comes to any kind of product or service, there is one thing that really works, which is references and word of mouth. If you are satisfied with the quality, you will definitely tell a lot of people that, this is something you must opt for. But if you are dissatisfied, you will tell more than 50 to 100 people that don't go for it.
Correct. That will definitely go on social media.
Right. And these days after COVID, social media has become something where whatever comes to your mind, you are going to post it over there. And it has become a huge pain for many organizations who are making blunders.
Yeah, no, but for us, we'd rather ride on the positivity of social media, because yeah, people are quicker to criticize, but it's okay. You keep doing what you have to do.
Yeah. And you talked about one more thing, like yours is an all-women enterprise. So how did this idea click you?
So I had gone to a women's college, had been in a girls' school also, and given my own personal journey, where I saw all around me, not only in India, but also overseas. Women are the only one, in spite of being in a family, who have to take a career break because of childbirth or other family issues. And when they need to go back, they get the imposter syndrome and it takes them a lot of time to go back to work. And I felt, why should that be the case? We should also always have the option of being able to work and feel empowered that if I need to, slow down a little, it doesn't affect my trajectory. I could only do this if it was my own company. So in my own company, I wanted it only with women so that they have a work from home option a
Hmm.
flexi time option, an
Hmm.
option to upskill and
Hmm.
discover what they like. Because see,
Yeah.
happy teachers make effective teachers.
I somehow feel that being a woman, we are very good at this skill, teaching others. I don't know whether this is our conditioning or what, that we are conditioned in a way that we have to be caring, we have to be loving. So this is something which we are made with. We are blessed with it.
Yeah, empathy. Empathy is a very, very important skill set.
Hmm.
And communication skills also, right?
Right.
So the reason I wanted all women was also because I realized that when you have all women, they
Hmm.
also serve as role models to each other. They are more
Hmm.
collaborative, they are more trusting. So it's a happier environment. We have a team of teachers who have not met physically, they're
Hmm.
all online, but we
Hmm.
have a very good bonding,
Hmm.
where they uplift each other.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate to have my team of
Hmm.
teachers.
And I can resonate with it so well. The reason is in my office, right from the beginning, we are all women staff. So that's why I can relate so well with whatever you are saying right now. Okay,
Okay.
tell me one more thing. Like you just said about flexible work hours or things like that. So do you think that work-life balance for a woman, if you're working, it is more important than being a man?
See, I think work life balance is important for everyone, right? For your
Hmm.
own mental peace.
Hmm.
Uh, and sometimes, it does fall upon us women that we have to sort of balance it more,
Right.
with children and housework and
Hmm.
everything. I mean, and your own personal time, right? But it is something which I feel that one can try and balance for oneself, and
Hmm.
it may not happen immediately,
Hmm.
but you keep reflecting and seeing what works for you,
Hmm.
and work it out. I think life is work in progress. That's
Right.
my mantra. So
Yeah.
you
I completely
fix.
agree. And when it comes to work-life balance, no, sometimes most of the people that I talk to, they say that work-life balance means I'm not able to give time to my family. So if you are able to give equal time to your family, like the time you are giving to your work, it is practically not possible. Because if you're working as an entrepreneur, you have to prioritize things. So sometimes you have to give more time to your family, depending upon the requirement. Sometimes you have to give more time to your work, and you have to, put your family at back foot. So for me, work-life balance basically means prioritizing right thing at right level and focusing more on quality of time rather than the quantity of time.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I feel that, when you have a lot to do, you learn to manage your time more effectively.
Right.
So I 100% agree with you, um, that it's about prioritizing really more
Hmm.
than anything else. It's not about equality, but some things take a precedence sometimes.
Yes, so from prioritizing, one thing just clicked my mind. What do you think about prioritizing self-care? Because this is something women are bad at most of the times. I have very rarely seen, if I talk about my own mother, she was extremely bad at it. I've counseled her really, really well. She has become a little better, but still not up to the mark. So, what do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. There was a phase in my life too, when I started my company, and there's this big passion, right, of doing everything, and you forget to take
Hmm.
out time for exercise, you take out time to just meditate or read
Hmm.
and or just be. But
Hmm.
that's again comes down to consciousness of
Hmm.
reflection and
Hmm.
saying that, am I taking out time, for myself? And it's about being kind to yourself. It's
Hmm.
okay if you don't get everything done that you had
Yeah.
planned for.
And many a times women feel that self-care is selfish. If they'll start caring about themselves, people will say, oh, she's so selfish.
Hmm. So, honestly, I'm one of those people where I don't care what people say. I have to be true to
Hmm.
myself because I have to live with myself. As long as my family and my friends, people who really matter to me,
Hmm.
they understand me, I can't please everyone.
Right. And that's a wow statement you have just made because, it's just simply me. And I would say that, the people who really love you, the people who care for you, if you care for yourself, they will love you for that. They'll support
Yeah.
you for that. And the only people who will say bad things about you would be the people who are jealous of what you are doing. They don't want you to grow, to you to learn, to you to become successful. That's why they do everything for that. And maturity is when you realize this.
Yeah. So, I think if you're so occupied with, making a difference, right? These things don't even come in your thinking because you're
Right.
so, occupied with doing the right thing and stepping forward, like learning something. So,
So tell us one thing, Supriya. How do you maintain self confidence and physical and mental fitness at the same time while managing your family and your business, everything all together?
so confidence has never really been an issue,
Hmm.
simply because I decided that I want to do things that make me happy. Because if I am happy, people around me will be happy.
Right.
Uh, um, Things may not always go the way you have planned,
Hmm.
but the way I look at it is that there are challenges that you are given to you for you to learn and grow from.
Hmm.
So confidence is taken care of in that sense. So as far as physical health goes, I try to make it a point that I exercise every day or at
Hmm.
least 5 times a week.
Hmm.
There was a period when I had stopped doing that because I was so obsessed by my work. But
Hmm.
then I realized that this is my life. I need to do this on a daily basis.
Hmm.
And mental peace is something that I think that I'm very blessed that I have a very positive outlook. I
Hmm.
have a very supportive family who are very, very positive.
Hmm.
So when you have such positivity around you, your
Hmm.
mental health is taken care of anyway.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. I
if you
completely agree. But being in a business scenario, there are tough times even when you feel very low, when you feel you are not able to give your 100%. So, how do you manage your stress at that time?
So, of course, that happens. It's very, very natural, right?
Hmm.
Um, so, when you feel low, you pick yourself up and say that, it's not the end of the world. You
Right.
practice gratitude. You
Hmm.
count your blessings rather than, focus on what you're not getting.
Hmm.
And what I try to do is remember that, every moment is a new moment.
Hmm.
And what can I do different? I'm
Hmm.
not going to give up. Right. And I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing this for the people in my company. I'm doing this to make a difference,
Hmm.
to all the children and the people that we are trying to reach out to.
Hmm.
So that's what keeps you going. And as an entrepreneur, you have to pick yourself up. Is that
Right.
resilience that you build in your mind,
Hmm.
that keeps you going?
Hmm. And I have also heard that you put a lot effort for women empowerment. So what do you think about women coming out of their loops and starting their own businesses? Like even if it is a small startup, just doing it from their home, but still at least they have started coming up. Earlier it was not the case. Whenever we used to talk about women entrepreneurs, we could hardly find any around us to get inspiration from. But these days it has become something that that really makes me happy when I see women coming around me and talking to me. Being a business consultant, I primarily deal with women entrepreneurs. So when I talk to them and they share their challenges, like how did they overcome it? How did they make their family understand that their work is also important? So what do you think about it? Is business something which is promoting women empowerment these days?
100%, 110%. And I highly encourage it. And I like to also tell others, young girls or even people, who kids have grown up and they're looking for something to do. I say, please don't be afraid. Whatever you love and you're excited about, and you feel that you can make a business out of it, whether
Hmm.
it's for profit or non-profit,
Hmm.
take the plunge. You
Hmm.
may not know everything when you begin. I didn't.
Correct.
I'm still
Yes.
learning, right?
Hmm.
But set a date and do it. Because
Hmm.
I think, what happens is when you work
Hmm.
and if you have your own work, even people around you then have respect for you and your time. It
Hmm.
gives you that feeling of purpose.
Hmm.
So I would definitely say that everyone should try to have their own business, big or small, it doesn't
Hmm.
matter. And
Hmm.
when you have your own business, it's not just you're helping
Hmm.
so many other people, right?
Yeah. So it's a noble work altogether because you are generating employment for people. And
Yeah.
India is a country where there is huge population who's still unemployed. If you can be somebody who can actually hire people, give them work. You can be the reason of somebody's, because of you, some people are, running their household. They are able to manage their families. They are able to get their children basic necessities, their education, their everything. So it is such a noble cause. But, somehow I still feel that being a women entrepreneur, we still lack a little support from the society. What are your views about it?
You know, I think more than society, if your family supports you, right? Your husband, your extended family, they support you. That's all you need. You can't now expect society to be with you always. And if you don't have a supportive environment, as long as you know that you're doing justice, to your family, have the courage to say, I'll start small, but do it because it gives you that sense of purpose, a sense of being that, I am more than this.
Yes.
I find that women get this pride.
And the tagline of my podcast is even women inspiring women. So, what do you really expect that after listening to us, what should women start doing? Like, yes, coming out of their loop and starting their own business is something. What are the other areas where you really feel that women should work on it?
I think the first thing that I would tell every woman to do is that be brave, be yourself. Don't be afraid to really be yourself. You don't have to fit into the mold. You should have the confidence to say what you believe and do the things that you believe. Whatever makes you happy. You can't make everyone happy.
Right.
I really think that, we forget that this life is a gift to us where every day matters. So, jo kal gaya, let it go. But today, how can I live my life and say that, yes, today was a good day? I did something for myself, I did something to someone else.
And this is something very powerful that you just pointed out, which is you can't make everybody happy. Even people are not happy with God. We say, God this did this to me. I never did anybody's bad. So we actually cannot make everyone happy. But if we take care of our own things, we are happy at heart, then there is still a possibility that people around us would be happy. And it is not your own responsibility to take care of everything. Your family is your responsibility somehow, but your society, the entire state, or the entire country is not your responsibility. Yes, if you are doing something for the betterment of the society, you must do it. But not because society is stopping you from doing something and this is right, still you are just, lagging behind.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
So tell us one thing. Did you face any challenge in this thing? Like your family was not very supportive in the beginning. How did you make them convince? Or you were lucky enough to have a family who was supporting in the beginning only?
So, initially after my marriage, and I was younger, that time it wasn't the trend for people in my community, women in my community to work. So at that time I wasn't able to have my own business. Then I made a choice because my child was growing up that I don't want to sort of stay away, and I had that guilt. But by the time I had my second child, I realized that if I wait for her to grow up now, I'll be a very old lady. So I better start now. And I'm so glad I did that because it gave me a better time work balance. B, I realized I'm a good role model to my children. Not only am I doing something that is fulfilling my life's purpose, but I'm also, showing my children that I'm aspirational, I'm hungry, and I want to build a, business which is helping the community because we're driven by impact, really.
Right, right. And when we talk about aspirations, they are extremely important because if you do not have aspirations, you are not going to do anything. So you have to dream for something big. Then only you will find a path to reach that.
Correct. Yeah. And aspirations can change, right? Because you set yourself goals that are achievable. Because then you also get that confidence that yes, I can do more.
Right.
you can have a larger goal, but then also set yourself smaller milestones so that you can see that, yeah, I'm able to do that. And what pivots do I need to take in order to reach my larger goal?
Mhm. So tell us one thing, Supriya. What is your goal? If I talk about your business, how do you want to see your business after 5 years or 10 years down the line?
So, Ishleen, though our company is called Coding and More, we are actually AI specialists.
Hmm.
When I started my company, I didn't know that I'm going to pivot into AI.
Hmm.
And today, that artificial intelligence is a big buzzword.
Right.
We were one of the early entrants 3 years
Hmm.
ago,
Hmm.
and that too for the younger children.
Hmm.
I think that most people in academia already recognize the work we are doing.
Hmm.
And now we've also started teaching non-technical adults, educators.
Hmm.
And what I would like to really see happening in 5 years is that
Hmm.
whenever anybody thinks about AI literacy, they
Hmm.
think of coding and more.
I'm really sure that, because you entered a right thing at the right time and you are doing ethical business, I'm very sure you are going to get that. But tell us one thing, because, for coding and AI, still people are quite dicey. They do not have 100% awareness. How's it going to work? How's it going to, because you must have seen few, posts featuring on social media. AI is going to take away your jobs, things like that. So, have you planned anything so that people get more awareness about AI and coding?
Yeah, so, in fact, that's one of the biggest challenges that we had,
Hmm.
because when we started, most people didn't understand AI, that it could be taught to a child as young as 8 years of age, right?
Hmm.
Um, so what we started doing is, building a lot of community awareness.
Okay.
We started our own newsletter. We invite a speaker from overseas every month to talk
Hmm.
about a topic of their interest. We do a lot of talks so that people understand what is AI and why is it important. And I'm one of those firm believers in AI for all. See, a lot of people also believe that AI is only for technical folks, or
Yeah.
only for men, or
Hmm.
only after you're a certain age. But I
Hmm.
believe this is something, because today we have platforms to learn
Hmm.
from, right?
Hmm.
That everyone should know it, because we're all interacting with it on a daily basis.
Right.
After the GPT, the power is given to the person where
Hmm.
they can be creators, right? So what we are doing, is actively doing a lot of community outreach through schools, through social media, so that we can make people aware of
Hmm.
the correct reasons of why they should learn AI and not FOMO reasons.
Yeah, because there is one more myth about AI, if I say that. Most of the parents, they feel that if their children will start using the power of AI, their creativity will go away.
Yeah. So, again, that is a myth, right?
Hmm.
With any tool, it is how you use it.
Hmm.
And just because you're afraid of it, and you don't use it,
Hmm.
then you're also at a risk, because it's like saying, "Okay, if I use a computer or the calculator, I will not be able to calculate."
Hmm.
Right? But when you allow some mundane tasks to be done through
Hmm.
AI, you have more time free to do higher level thinking. So what
Yes.
we are now doing is, doing workshops in schools where
Hmm.
we are teaching teachers that, what are the strengths of these
Hmm.
tools and how you should steer the children towards that. We
Hmm.
want to do awareness campaigns for parents so that they understand how they should guide their children or how to use it.
Hmm.
आज हम पेंट ब्रश देते हैं, we don't think they will paint the walls, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
the same kind of thing, using the tool
Hmm.
effectively.
So, tell us one thing. When you go to schools and you talk to, the principals of the school or the management of the school and tell them that, okay, we want to have a workshop on AI or something, what kind of challenges you face there? Like, do they take it with open hands or do they ask you a lot of questions or are they a little, they try to stay away from it? So, what do you actually face?
Oh my God, you are hitting all the right nails, huh? So I'll tell you what my experience has been. You have all kinds of people. So there are people with a progressive mindset, and there are people who are more afraid, they're more conservative. So
Hmm.
the principals or the managements, who have a progressive mindset
Hmm.
and who believe in us,
Hmm.
they uh, allow us in. They have a conversation with us. And if they trust us, of course, they allow us in. And then we're a partner, in their school for the AI classes. For people who are more conservative, we understand that they will take more time, but they will come around. So we are in touch with them, but it's our job to educate them. At least I know I have planted a seed, if nothing at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that is absolutely correct. We come across all kind of people. But if somebody is adamant, we can just add value. We cannot push anyone to do something.
Not at all. How?
Yeah.
How can you do it? Right?
Right.
And I mean, keep chipping away.
Because when
it's a
it comes
matter
to AI, even organizations are still not very sure whether they should implement any AI tool or not. And I've seen so many organizations where employees are using the AI tools and the management is not even aware of that.
Absolutely. In schools also, children are using it and teachers are not aware. So,
Yeah.
I think it's very important that, again, in organizations also, these are not perfect tools. So it's important that whoever is using it understands the power of it and the limitation of it. Because there
Right.
are a lot of privacy issues also with it. I think the biggest thing that one should do is educate themselves. That I'm using this tool, also with AI, unlike all other tools, it's a two-way tool. Whatever you ask it, it's learning from you.
Right.
It's very, very important that whoever uses is educated. So with organizations also, I feel, and we did a corporate training recently for a company, we realized that if people use it responsibly, the organization is not at risk and it grows with its people. Because they're also freeing up time, they're becoming more productive.
Yes. And it results in automation. There are so many things that AI can do in, I would say, 1/10 of the time that human are using. So we can use our employees, we can leverage their skills in better way. They'll become more productive using AI.
Yeah. But the key is to educate them, to empower them to use it responsibly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if management talks about it, trains the people, then it would become better rather than they doing it themselves. And then there is this data leak, privacy issues. So it's better to address them upfront.
Correct. Also, Ishleen, what is another issue today, and it's a worldwide issue, is that the technology is advancing faster than government regulations.
Yeah.
So while all these tools are being developed and are being used, people are not really following the correct regulations because they do not exist. So as educators, what we do is that we actually teach you the ethical practices so that when the laws come in, you're on the right side.
Right.
It's a real issue, but it can be solved for. It just comes down to wanting to know the right thing. And reading. It's all out there. You have to just read the correct sources.
Right. So, Supriya, you are doing a brilliant job, and we really wish you all the very best. We would love to see you attain heights. And, this brings me to the end of today's podcast. What is one message you would like to give to our audience that they can take with them forever?
I think that the one message I would like to give the audience is that we live in a very exciting time when knowledge is free and accessible. Anybody who has a phone and an internet connection can learn. Spend some time to upskill yourself. Find joy. Be healthy. Everything else will follow.
Yeah, so if you keep on learning, you maintain your healthy life balance, you are doing something for yourself, you'll be happy and the people around you will be happy. What a great thought, Supriya. So thank you so much, Supriya, for being on the show. It was indeed our privilege to have you here.
Thank you, Ishleen. I really enjoyed talking to you. You asked me so many interesting questions.
Same here, same here.